Hey folks, it's Johnny Flynn. It's September 9th. We're moving towards September 11th, the 20-year anniversary of 9/11, and Marjorie Taylor Greene is coming to Connecticut. At least 32 people want to go. The announcement was just made, so if that's how many people want to come in a few hours, we're going to be oversubscribed, which is fantastic news. But I'd like to highlight an article here that really deserves your undivided attention. Let me put it on screen. We have a lot of articles here that we want to highlight, though I don't want to overwhelm you with what we should be doing with the State Department, but here's a video. You must read this article and you must listen to this commentary. Here we go. The State Department refused to grant official approval for private evacuation flights from Afghanistan to land in third countries, even though the department conceded that official authorization would likely be needed for planes to land in those nations. Now, please listen, because it's critical.
Tell Fox News that the State Department is the only reason their planes have not left Afghanistan. This is a satellite image here showing 6 planes just sitting on the tarmac, and there is confusion over what exactly is causing the holdup. One of the people involved in the evacuation effort says the U.S. is refusing to confirm if flights have been cleared for takeoff and is banning them from landing in nearby countries. They say, quote, "This is zero place to be negotiating with American lives. Those are our people standing on the tarmac, and all it takes is a phone call. If one life is lost as a result of this, the blood is on the White House's hands." A State Department spokesperson responding with this.
So when you think about it, where we're at, our Congressman Jim Himes is responsible for the Afghan assessment prior to the evacuation of the military, prior to the evacuation of American citizens. So when you think about the risk these people are placed in, it's an enormous risk. Not only are we not vetting the people when they get here, we're allowing them to leave once they land by Uber wherever they want to go. And there are reports of over 200 ISIS-K and Taliban people arriving mixed with Afghans and refugees and American citizens. So when you look at the number of people stranded, for the State Department not to have a plan at this point, it being 9 days after the release date that Biden approved, we have to wonder why after 9 days this hasn't been resolved. There is no clearance from the tower for these planes to leave. There's no air support. There's no surrounding base. There's no access to the airport in many cases. There's no currency there, folks. The World Bank has abandoned Afghanistan and its currency. So how do you bribe the Taliban to get to the airport? How do you get the plane to exit until they're recognized as, the Taliban is recognized as Afghanistan's actual government? So this all comes back to Jim Himes on the Intelligence Committee. It comes back to Adam Schiff, who could care less, and they all have oversight of the FBI, which should be all over this, Department of Homeland Security, and NSA, on and on and on. There are 17 branches of the federal government that should have figured out by now about these planes and about access, about vetting, about all these different things, instead of giving $2,300 each to everyone getting off the plane, when in fact veterans groups are on their own supporting Americans overseas, trying to defend Americans overseas, while they continue to aid the Taliban with infrastructure, and God knows what Richard Blumenthal's doing. God knows what Chris Murphy's doing. Chris Murphy is sympathetic to the Afghans and not sympathetic to our own veterans. It's absolutely insane. So I want to keep this short, but there are videos that you need to watch so you understand how big a disaster catastrophe this is. It's worse than Saigon. It's going to lead to 800,000 refugees, and God knows how they're going to survive at the airport, getting to the airport. All these supporters like Mohammed, who saved Biden, is abandoned there. He's saying he trusts Biden. And I'll tell you this right now, I have no confidence at this point in what they're doing, how they do it. They've got the wrong people in charge. The entire administration needs to be replaced. And where's Kamala Harris? She's out in California trying to protect Newsom from being voted out. What did she do about the border? Nothing. The borders are open because of Jim Himes. The fentanyl keeps flowing. They are continuing in many different cities to defund. And we have a problem that we can't fix with this current administration, and we need to start impeachment immediately. Marjorie Taylor Greene is right about many things. So was Trump. And in hindsight, the people of Connecticut demanded we take down our Trump signs at the schools that were holding elections. And what happened? In Columbus Magnet School in Norwalk, BLM took over. And the police supported Black Lives Matter over the disabled election volunteer working with me who was assaulted. Where's the police report? We keep going to the Norwalk police demanding it. Well, Williams probably didn't process it. So we need Williams' departure from the Norwalk Police Department. Yeah, why? Because he's pro-Black Lives Matter. Give us a break, folks. You wonder why people don't support certain police departments. Well, look at Stanford. If you follow the Stephen Barrier murder, you would know that a year ago, the BLM movement went from 30 followers to 1,000 followers to 3,000 followers. Meanwhile, there were 9 assaults at the Stanford Police Department. Tell me about it. A 200-pound cop kicked a 90-pound woman in the face, and they arrested her. Give us a break, folks. You got to figure out how we're going to fix this. We have problems in Shelton that are not being fixed. We have problems in Waterbury that are not being fixed that we are tracking. We've got 30-year-old kidnapping investigations in Connecticut where people were kidnapped in broad daylight in front of witnesses, and they never found the body. And they never prosecuted the murder. It all comes back to our prosecutors. We have 6 vacancies in the prosecutor office in Bridgeport alone. 6 vacancies. You wonder why all these prisons are being closed and why there are overdoses at Firetree in Norwalk, why there are crack pipes in the street in front of Firetree in Norwalk, which Bob Duff set up, our Senate Majority Leader. You need to wonder why. He wants to immerse the Quintard community with convicts. Well, we don't know their backgrounds, and the chief of police was on the board. No permits were issued. No permits were issued, according to Mayor Rilling, for Firetree. No permits were issued, according to zoning. And They spent way beyond what their permit was filed for. They misled the zoning board. They allowed it to start operating. We don't know who these people are, and they're ODing. Actually, the most shocking information is Jimmy, who lives next door to Firetree, was found murdered in his car in Stamford last week. I went to the police department. I asked questions. They told me to leave. Really? Let's talk about the implosion of security and how can we protect the citizens if we're putting in place prison release in residential communities by Senate Majority Leader Duff, who doesn't return phone calls. And when I went on his conference call to ask one question about COVID, I asked the question first. 2 hours later, no response. I filmed the whole thing. You can watch the whole video. He's answering questions about everything under the sun but COVID. And it was a COVID conference call. I want to know why people are dropping dead in the 140 from COVID with stone crushing, open windows, uncovered piles of silica, chromium, arsenic, all over Norwalk. And you should be wondering why people are like Terry Joyner died after a thyroid condition 3 blocks from stone crushing in Norwalk, Connecticut. I'm ranting too long, so I'm at 12 minutes trying to get things done, folks, and I appreciate all your comments. I just can't possibly answer them all. I hope you realize I have to work, and I thank you very much for your comments and your support. I appreciate it, and we're gaining momentum. We're doing a great job, and you guys are helping. There's my Dominic Rapini sign, as you can see on my wall there. We need to support Michael France. We need to unmask our kids, yes, because wearing a mask increases your carbon monoxide by 600 parts to 4,000 parts, which causes more damage than the vaccine itself, or the pathogen itself. Have a great day. I'm at 12 minutes. I hope you watch it, learn, and share. You got to start sharing because there's people that we need to reach, and I can't reach them all on no budget. Thank you very much.